Okay, if there are any questions at all, feel free to ask them throughout the webinar, no troubles at all. I'm just going to just show you just one of our learning resources that we have in the education department, which is our Instagram. Now, the previous, so this was yesterday, Google took a big hit, okay? So they took a hit in their books and they got a 2.4 billion euro fine. And I posted this yesterday before the market opened, and this was just something to show you. Basically, all of my content comes from an education perspective. So this is just something to show you the type of effect that this can have on a stock, okay? Now, I'm not always right. No, you know, it's impossible to always be right, as my wife keeps telling me. So, yeah, this is what happened today. Okay, you can see it's a big movement. And if we look again today, it's continuing on down. Now, not only did they take a big fine, it was based on their search engine ads. Now, the problem with this is that it could mean that they need to rethink their business plan, depending on whether the fine was big enough. It was a record fine. So what this means is, unless you're selling short, and like I said, around this point, this really was the period to sell. But I can see this going short for a long time because they're going to appeal this fine, but there's not really much they can do about it. And if it's $2.4 billion fine that talks about their search engines capabilities of advertising, then it really could hurt their stocks. And I knew, as I mentioned it to a couple of the account managers, and a couple of account managers and I agreed, and they sent out some emails even. I know that at least one or two of them did, just to give you the heads up that this was going to happen. So if you had any stock there, you had sold it off, or if you didn't have any, then you got in and you sold short on it. So yeah, just to show you that this is a really good resource for you. Okay, this is we have a lot of different posts on money management, support and resistance, and all these types of things. So what I would say is do get involved with our content. It's really good quality and has really, really good educational value, okay? Just so that if you're looking at trading as a permanent something you want to do, it's always, you know, there's an old saying that I basically wait until the money's there on the floor and I just go and pick it up. And yesterday, I mean, that's literally all you had to do. You heard this big news and all you had to do was just go and pick the money up off the floor. That's how I mean, that was maybe the clearest opportunity to make easy money that we've had in a long time, apart from things like Brexit. And not only was it very clear, and as you can see, the price is still falling, not only was it very clear, but it came out in the European market, which meant that the stock market, which holds Google, hadn't opened yet. So it really did give us a great chance to get in. So yeah, if you got that news, I'm sure if you have Rennie as an account manager, for example, you did get that news beforehand. So yeah, just as I said, just as a good way to show you about our content. Now, we do have a blog about education. I don't know about education, it's about trade psychology, and that's on medium.com as well. So this is all stuff that you can absorb, all really good information for you, okay? So let's have a look then about the subject today, which is for the more basic members today, but there is some slightly more advanced stuff, okay? So firstly, what we're going to look at is very quickly, just identify the different windows, okay? This main window is the chart window, okay? The window here on the left, the top, is the market window, market watch window. Below that is the navigator window, and we have the terminal window, okay? Now, we can open a trade in many ways, okay? We can hit F9, oh, no, that's not F9, F9 on our keyboard. We can hit new order up here. We can also go to tools, new order, okay? Or we can double click on the market watch window on the pair we want to do. And actually we can also do it in the terminal window at the bottom here, just by right-clicking, okay? So you can pretty much open an order from anywhere. I think you can't maybe open it from the navigator window here, but that's just for your accounts, okay? Anyway, so let's keep going. Firstly then, let's have a look at opening an order. Now, okay, here we go. Now here at the top we have the stock or share that we want to buy or sell, and actually let's go crazy and let's sell a ton of Google shares, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to hit sell. Okay. Now what we're going to learn how to do is to edit our open order, okay? Now if you were here last time, then you got that, but if you weren't, no problems. So what we're going to do firstly is set a stop loss, okay? We can set a stop loss in a couple of different ways, okay? The first one is just to double click on stop loss here. And you can either hit the button here, okay? If you change this to 22, for example, it'll change, okay? Or you can write down the number. So let's say we want 931. That is our stop loss. And we can write it down and hit OK. Okay. We can also drag it around, okay? So we can also do that and hit modify. Now the first time that you drag, you'll get a disclaimer, basically saying, do you want to be able to do this without confirmation? Always say no. We always want to confirm anything we do with our trade. We don't want to accidentally do that, click, and our trade closes and we lose a ton of money. So always click no to the disclaimer, okay? Also, if we want to click our take profit, as we have a sell order, which is a short order, which is down, we can just click again and drag down, like so. Again, if we want to set them here, we can do that and just modify. Okay. The only way that I'm aware of that we can delete a stop loss is by hovering over the line here, right-clicking and clicking cancel stop loss, and there it goes, okay? All right. So let's put them in again at a good level. The recent movement up before it came down was at 929.72. So let's do that. 929.70. Let's say 78. And there it goes. Okay, and we'll have a look at the end, and hopefully we made a little bit of money on this demo account. Okay. Right. So now we're going to just go back here, just so we can have a look. Editing opening orders, account history. Okay. Now this is something that's pretty cool. The account history window. Okay. This is if you want to do a financial report. Okay. You can just show different amounts in here, okay? So if you want to show 1 month, you can do that. If you want to show 3 months, you can do that. And if you want to show all of your history, you can do that, all of it here, okay? Now if you save it as a detailed report, okay, actually I'll just go to one of mine. Okay, so, okay, yeah. So if you save it as a detailed report, all you do is you hit open and save it, and then you can just open it, and there you go. And there is your report. It's got every single trade you've made and like that, and it doesn't cost anything. It's part of the software, okay? All right. So what we're going to look at then is creating account history, open orders, account history, creating templates. Okay. So I love my color scheme. Some people like green instead of blue. I don't get it. I'm a blue man. But this is how we do it, okay? Firstly, when we open our charts, they're all black and green and white. This horrible, horrible color. Looks like something out of Tetris or something like that, Space Invaders. So what we can do is right-click, go down to Properties, okay? So we do it again. Right-click, go down to Properties, or we can hit, as it says there, F8, okay? Now, here are our colors, okay? The white, the background being the main color, and the foreground being the things that are written, okay? So if you just look at the numbers on the side, as I do that, the numbers disappear, okay? And some people might like that, depending on how you trade, right? So here you go. So let's go back to properties, and let's change it back like that, okay? Now I have up bar as blue, okay? An up bar is the same as a bull candle, okay? So these are the same, but you can have a different color inside and a different color as the outline, okay? But I would generally say it's good to have the same color both ways, okay? So once we've decided on our color scheme, we can do volumes and change everything that we want. Also, we can look at adding a grid, okay? I don't recommend the grid myself. I prefer the period separators so I can see the beginning of each day, which I feel is the most important gauge of where we're looking at. As a stock market, as you can see, if we're looking at Google here, you can see that yesterday it fell, sorry, the day before yesterday it fell, they got the news, yesterday it fell more, and today, so far, started here, it's down 34 points or so, okay? So this is really important, something really important for us to do, okay? Just to know how to see our charts, especially if we've got black ones. We can also arrange them. This can be good. So if we tile the windows like this, or we can tile them vertically like this. Now a lot of people would do that if they just want to check the most recent action, okay? Like that, okay. So that's how we create a template, okay? Now what we want to do is make sure that that template always appears, right? So what we're going to do again is right click and go to template. Then we're going to save template, and we're going to save it as default, okay? So there it is, default, we hit save, we're going to hit yes, okay? Now what's going to happen is when I open up a new chart, bang, it's already in the same one, okay? So this is good. It just saves us a bit of time every time you open up a new chart. You don't want to be changing around the color scheme. It just takes just an extra bit of time that you're not looking forward to. Also, we have profiles up here. So if you want to look at the British pound, how that's doing, we can check out that. Let's change it into tile vertically. Okay, we can see that. See how the pound is doing against all other currencies, which is really a really good thing to see. Just by doing this, we can see that the pound in the past for, actually let's change it. Oh, this is all the pound in different time frames, in fact. So let's change it to pound yen here. We'll change that to 1 hour, and we'll change to the pound Swiss franc. Shall we do the pound Swiss franc here? And there we go. Okay, so we can see in the past hour, nothing much has happened, but 3 hours ago there was obviously a piece of news because it affected the pound on all charts, you see. This is how we know if something happens on the pound dollar, and it also happens on the pound yen, that it's related to the pound rather than the dollar, okay? So very important. To change back, we go down to profiles, and there we go. There's my charts with all of my charts along the bottom here. And my trade in Google is doing terribly. Well, that's not good at all. All right. Anyway, moving swiftly on, as my math teacher used to tell me, adding an indicator. Now, I do use indicators. I think that they're really good for confirmation. So it's not something that I would necessarily use to decide my trade and work completely around it. But if I wanted to make a trade selling Google like this, I might have just checked to see, which conveniently, there was a crossover on my moving averages and there was a crossover on my MACD, and lo and behold, down we go, okay, with the information that I already had, okay. Now, all that just means probably there's just a little bit of extra momentum. It's not going to move a currency or a stock all by itself. So it's just something that I find useful just for confirmation. Now, let's delete all of these in the indicator list, which is right-click and you go to indicators list. Let's delete them all. And then we'll add them all again just to show you how to do so. So here is our basic chart. Okay. Now, if we want to add an indicator, we need to go to Insert up here. Click, go to Indicators. Okay. Now, the moving average, I think this does the most recent ones because these seem to be the ones that these are the two that I use. And sometimes I use these for demonstration. But here they are. They're all in different types. And the moving average is on the chart. Oscillators, these are the ones that oscillate around the set point. We have volumes, billions, and others. But let's have a look for moving average. Okay. So I use a 7, a 14, and a 21. So here we have 7, and it's in red. So I'm going to click OK. There it goes. Okay. What we'll do is we're going to add another moving average. I'm going to change that for 14, and we're going to make it orange. And now I'm going to change to add a 21, so the moving average 21, and that's going to be yellow. Okay, and there we have our moving averages. Okay, now we have the MACD, so we're going to go to indicators again. MACD. I do recommend the MACD. I think it's a great indicator. It's just a moving average, convergence, divergence, which basically works on similar information, basically the same information as the moving averages. It's just displayed a little different, and it just gives us. I think it just improves the results of it. You can see the crossovers here. Now, this does change a little bit, and historically, as it moves forward, it does correct a little bit in the past. So it does sometimes look a bit more accurate. I mean, if anything was this accurate, we'd all be millionaires, because look at this. This is straight up, and this would have been a crossover, but at that point, you see, we're only going to here, but still, it's a great tool. Okay, so this is how we add indicators. There are lots of indicators. Another way we can do that is here where it says indicators. Okay, this is in the navigator window. Now, if we want to go to trend, we can drag and drop like so, or we can right-click and attach to a chart. Okay, so let's do the Ichimoku Kinko Hyo. Ichimoku Kinko Hyo. That's a bit of a mouthful. And let's drag that one over as well. And here we go. All right. So this is another indicator, and now I've got too many indicators, obviously. Now this is, they say it's the most accurate indicator if you can figure out how to use it, because it's very complicated for me, but never mind. All we need to do is right-click and hit indicator list. Now we can see all of our indicators here. You can see them. I want to delete one or edit one, delete it, and as soon as I hit close, it's gone. Okay. Now, this is the same for expert advisors and scripts. If you're new, I wouldn't recommend expert advisors. I'd use something like the social trading, okay, or something along those lines. Now, moving on then from indicators, again, if you do have any questions, please do ask, because it's generally, it's not a complicated subject, so there are not usually a lot of questions. So, yeah, I do like it if I get the odd question. Anyway, okay, okay. So now we're going to look at different types of orders. Okay. So the first type of order we're going to look at, let's write here with a pen, is a limit order. If you can read that. Anyway, if you can't read it, it says limit. So, what is a limit order? Now, a limit order is when we're placing an order on the market to enter at a particular point. Okay. Now, in this case, what we're waiting for is a better price. Okay. So if I was buying the pound yen, this is the price at the moment, okay, as you can see. If I was buying the pound yen, what I would need to do is I would put my limit order down below here. Now, as the price comes down to here, my limit order is triggered. Now I have an open position at a better price than before, okay? Counterintuitively, I don't think it's particularly useful, because generally when it's moving down, you want to sell, not buy. So anyway, I'll show you how to do one of these. The easiest way probably is just to right click where you want to buy. Okay, here's buy limit order. We're going to hit buy and we're going to place it. And it's exactly where we want it. Again, if we want to drag it down here, you can modify it like so. Okay, drag it again. So what does this mean? This means that when the price reaches this point, my order will execute and I will have an open position at this level. Okay? The opposite is true for a sell order. Okay? So if I place right click up here, I can do a sell limit, and if it gets up here, I will sell. So it will be a better price for selling. A little bit complicated, but there we go. The opposite of that is called a stop order. Now we might use a stop order. Let's just delete this other order here. When we think that the price is moving well, and if it gets past that point, then it will keep moving well. So I'll give you an example. Let's look at this chart. Okay, so it's moved up here. We can see it's moved up, and then it's come back down, and it's moved up again. As you can see, it's moved up to, let's right to the shape. It's moved up to the same area. Now, if the price goes past this area, in theory now, or let's draw the other line on the other side. Okay, so and here we have another area here. Okay, so now if the price reaches either one of these areas, there's going to be a bounce back, maybe, or if it passes, it should move more freely. Okay, so what might someone do? Someone might put a stop order just above. So let's do that. Right? Say sell stop. Oh no, because I've done that below the price already. Duh. Sorry. Because the price is up here. So there we go. It's a buy. It's a buy stop. Okay. So what does this mean? If my buy stop is up here, when the price goes up to this point, it will then execute a trade, and up we go. Okay? So that's what it is. Opposite is true then if we want to do a sell stop. We'll do that below. Let's move this line up here. Maybe I think if it goes below this line, it'll continue moving freely. So here we're going to do a sell stop. Okay? So what this means is, my theory is that if it passes here, it'll do this. And my theory is that if it passes here, it'll do this. Okay? So this is why we have different types of orders. Now they're a little bit complicated, okay? But I think it's just something, maybe if you have a demo account, just practice doing those sell orders. I don't really use them very much, to be honest, but a lot of people use them in their strategies, particularly, for example, if it goes past, let's say, when it went past 111, that seemed to be the big talking point at the time. When it came up past 111 here, there was a lot of people thinking that it would continue up, and it has. But yeah, okay. So what was the next thing that we were going to look at? Is there one more thing? No, I think that was it. So let's have a look. Let's just review very quickly. Now, editing. My Google trade is doing terribly now that I've actually decided. Maybe I'm in too late, but I'm a great believer in. I've got to be a bit patient, and there's only been 20 minutes, so no problems. All right. So let's have a look here down at the bottom. Now we can see. We have two open orders. Can you see this here? Okay, one is a buy stop, one is a sell stop. All right. So we can also edit these from down here. Right click, modify, and we can add a stop loss so that when they go off, they have an automatic stop loss. So this is a, which one did we click on? buy stop. Okay, so the idea is that it's above the price. So the stop loss is going to be below the price, okay? 1112, and let's say a little bit to 20. Now take profit, let's say it's going to be 112, and we'll put it at 70, okay? Now we have a stop loss and a take profit. So when it's executed, that will go on. And again, we can do the same thing. We can, on the sell stop, we can add them just by dragging in like that, okay? All right. So, there probably are no questions, but let's see. Are there any questions at all? All right. So, as everybody knows, I'm sure by now, if you're new to us, then maybe you don't, but generally everybody knows. My name is Andrew. My name is actually Andrew Neufeld, but because I'm from Wales, everybody calls me David. It's my mother's names, my mother's maiden name, so it's not. it's a bit of fun, but I can take it. So yeah, my email is andrew.d@gsimarkets.com. So if you have any questions about the webinar, okay. Now we will make this available for you very, very soon, okay. Probably about this time tomorrow, the webinar video should be active and around for you again, all right? Well, as I said, take full advantage of all of the resources that we're making available to you, okay? So this really, I mean, it's really, really important. Get researching, learn as much as you can, and hopefully we'll all be good. All right, well, thank you very much, and have a good day or night, or whatever it is for you.